And does he still stand by the letter that he signed, which opposed the removal of 50 foreign criminals, one of whom went on to murder?
Robert Jenrick clashes with David Lammy over deportation row. Commons erupts. Okay, you need to hear this, because what just happened in the Commons has people talking all over the country. Robert Jenrick, former immigration minister, stood up and went head-to-head with Labour's David Lammy in a fiery clash about deportations. And the way it unfolded, the interruptions, the raised voices, the sheer tension in the room left MPs and the public stunned. This wasn't a quiet policy debate. It was a showdown. So what was it all about? Jenrick accused Labour of being soft on deportations. Specifically, he pointed to a high-profile case involving dozens of foreign nationals due to be removed from the UK, individuals who had already served time in prison for serious crimes. According to Jenrick, when push came to shove, Labour figures, including David Lammy, sided against those deportations. He argued that this undermines public trust and sends the wrong message at a time when voters are demanding tougher action on law and order. Anderson's moment last week was fiery, but this was explosive. Jenrick looked straight at Lammy and declared, "The British people expect us to protect them first, not criminals who've already broken the law." The Commons gasped. David Lammy fired back. And he wasn't holding anything back either. Lammy argued that Jenrick was twisting the facts, reducing a complex issue into a soundbite. He stressed that while Labour supports deportation in principle, the process must be lawful, fair, and humane. No one, Lammy said, is above the law, including the Home Office. In other words, Lammy tried to flip the argument. For him, this isn't about being soft on crime, it's about making sure government doesn't overstep its legal obligations. But here's the kicker, that nuance doesn't always play well in a heated chamber or in the court of public opinion. Deportations have long been one of the most explosive issues in UK politics. Governments of all stripes have faced backlash either for being too harsh or too lenient. Flights have been delayed, legal challenges mounted, and communities divided. And the case Jenrick raised is not new. In fact, it's been years in the making. Each time one of these deportation flights makes headlines, activists line up outside airports with placards, lawyers flood the courts with emergency appeals, and politicians clash over whether Britain is doing the right thing. So when Jenrick reignited the row in Parliament, it wasn't just another speech. It was a reminder of a running battle that cuts to the heart of Britain's identity: who gets to stay, who must leave, and how the system decides. Reactions outside Westminster were immediate. On Twitter, one post racked up thousands of likes in minutes. Jenrick is right. Victims need to know criminals will never be put before public safety. But others sided with Lammy. One user wrote, "This is dangerous rhetoric. Everyone deserves due process, no matter their crime." And the split was clear: safety versus fairness, strength versus compassion. Inside government, insiders are reading the clash in political terms. One senior Conservative aide whispered to a reporter, "This is going to resonate in red wall seats." Voters there are tired of legal wrangling. They want action. Meanwhile, a Labour source admitted privately, Lammy walks a tightrope here. He has to defend the rule of law, but he risks looking weak on crime, and that's a brutal perception in a campaign season. And that's the real battle beneath the shouting. It's not just about one deportation flight. It's about trust, which party voters believe will actually keep them safe. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just about Jenrick versus Lammy. It's also about Labour versus Labour. Quietly, some in the party worry that Lammy's stance could backfire. They fear that if the Conservatives frame Labour as blocking deportations, even on legal grounds, that narrative could stick in the minds of voters. And let's be honest, once that narrative takes hold, it's incredibly hard to shake. So what happens next? That's the million-pound question. The government has already signaled that it wants to accelerate deportations where possible, promising tighter rules and faster removals. Labour, meanwhile, is under pressure to show it isn't soft, while also standing firm on legal and human rights principles. But the clash between Jenrick and Lammy may be just the beginning. With a general election looming, this issue is guaranteed to come up again in debates, in interviews, and on the campaign trail. And the stakes couldn't be higher. So here's where we leave it. In a Commons clash that was raw, loud, and deeply political, Robert Jenrick tried to paint Labour as weak on crime. David Lammy tried to defend the rule of law. Both sides landed blows. But in the end, it's not about who scored points in Parliament. It's about how the public sees it. And the question remains when the next deportation flight is announced, will Britain see unity on protecting its borders, or another political war that leaves the country more divided than ever?